Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Indie Zone. My name is Kathy. We had previously informed you that on October 31st, 2025, the Idaho State Police released their fifth and largest document drop from the Idaho versus Kohberger case. This document drop consisted of over 2,300 pages. It included the first look at what the state is alleging was the sheath that was found on the bed next to Madison and Kaylee on November 13th, 2022 at 1122 King Road. The Idaho State Police played a massively important role in the investigation into the crimes, including processing the crime scene and then conducting forensic testing at the ISP lab in Meridian, Idaho. The ISP did not pick and choose what evidence its lab would conduct forensic testing of. Everything came from the submitting agency, and that is the Moscow Police Department. The process that the ISP had in place that was utilized throughout the case when MPD was submitting evidence for forensic testing was a document called the Idaho State Police Forensic Services Evidence Submission Receipt. And if we look at this document that is dated June 4th, 2025, there is some compelling information here that I wanted to bring to your attention. Let's look at page number 1 and see what this tells us. The date of this receipt, June 4th, 2025. This is approximately 2 months before what was then scheduled to be the trial in the case. By this point in time, the case had been proceeding for over 2.5 years. The case was initiated on December 29th, 2022. By June 4th, 2025, the case was still open. The parties were preparing for trial. According to page 1 of this form, the submitting agency is the Moscow Police Department. The date of the offense, November 13th, 2022, a date that is well familiar to those that have been following the Idaho 4 case. That is the date of the crimes. The location of the county where the offense occurred, according to this form, is Latah County. The investigating officer has not changed. It has appeared on all of the ISP Forensic Services evidence submission receipts dating back to November of 2022, when ISP conducted forensic testing on the sheath. The investigating officer here is Dustin Blaker. It is not Detective Brett Payne, although the public understood that it was Detective Brett Payne, who was the lead detective for Moscow Police Department, to be in the courtroom to assist the defense. Speaking not of Dustin Blaker, Brett Payne was at the trial that was still pending on this date. So it is unclear why Dustin Blaker was essentially the face of the Moscow Police Department as far as it came to the important matter of the Idaho State Police Forensic Services Department and their testing of evidence submitted by MPD. The critical information that I wanted to bring to you at this time appears on page number 2. We see here, by looking at the very left-hand corner of this grid, 2 suspects. There's a name here that has appeared consistently and consistently redacted as, for want of a better term, suspect number 1. And then we see suspect 2 as being Brian Kohberger. Again, this is on a form that was dated June 4th, 2025. And before any thought could be, well, maybe this person was a suspect at the beginning of the case, this person was cleared, that does not seem consistent with other records that we've seen. Because at one time, there were 3 suspects that were listed. This suspect number 1, name redacted, and then the 2 Brians, as we have referred to the 2 names that appeared in the position for suspect 2 and suspect 3. There was an amendment to take off one of the Brians. Mr. Kohberger and this unnamed person at the top slot have been on multiple of these submission forms. So the question becomes, if this person was cleared at some point, why wasn't he then moved to a subject position? So in looking at this evidence, it appears, and again, this is pure speculation that we give under the First Amendment, opinion, commentary, rhetorical question. Why is this person still as late as June 4th, 2025, just before trial, still listed as a suspect? If you have any thoughts, any opinions, any comments that you would like to share, please leave them here. And finally, we are going through these documents as we do in D-Zone style. We go through them literally page by page, line by line, like we did when the case was active. And if you're new to the case, if you'd like a refresher on the documents, please consider checking out the Idaho versus Kohberger podcast that has been available on this YouTube channel for approximately 10, 11 months now. It predated the YouTube channel, and it literally started with document number 1, page 1 of the Affidavit of Probable Cause. First 18 episodes went over the Affidavit of Probable Cause page by page, and then we started to go down through the docket, through the date of closure, July 23rd, 2025, and beyond, as additional matters have still come before Judge Hippler, including but not limited to the possible unsealing of the large number of documents that remained sealed at the time of the closure of the case, and other related matters such as restitution. This will now conclude this episode of the Indie Zone. My name is Kathy. Thank you for joining us here today.